Hi, this is Quinn, and welcome back to QuinTech. So in this video, I'm trying to do a step-by-step booting up of this Amiga 2000 that I sent off to my YouTube friend Chris Edwards. We don't actually know each other in person, but we've shared some YouTube moments together. Whatever that means. So he fixed my board a few months ago, back in, I think, November, October, November, 3 months ago. I shot some footage back at the beginning of December of me unboxing it. I believe that's when it was. And then I was gonna show off hooking it up and putting in all the boards and seeing what worked and what didn't, and the hard drives and all this other stuff. I had all these plans laid out, and then a lot of my stuff went missing. So I didn't have things like a mouse, which I went out and got. Hopefully it works. I still haven't had a chance to test it. A USB to serial Amiga little small project thing that I bought off of eBay, and I still haven't had a chance to even test it. Anyway, so this video, I show the motherboard a little bit. I show the case for the Amiga 2000, but mostly I'm talking about my little Novell, not even made by Novell Networks, but Novell Network compatible external hard drive enclosure that held two hard drives, and they're both 2 GB hard drives, giving me 4 gigabytes that I used to be able to access on my Amiga. So hopefully, once I get it all set back up again, I can use these two 2 GB hard drives to get my setup back up and running. It still has the 3.1 ROM in it. I'm not all fancy schmancy with a Pi Storm and all that stuff. A Pi Storm sounds like an amazing thing, though. All you do is get a Raspberry Pi 3, I think it is, maybe a 4. And you get this board built, I guess, at PCB Way. I don't know, I'm not even sponsored by them, but everybody keeps talking about them. And you plug the Raspberry Pi up to the Pi Storm, and then you plug it into the 68,000 socket. You don't plug it into the accelerator slot where my 030 accelerator plugs into. You plug it actually into the 68,000 chip little socket, into the chip socket, and it basically turns your 68,000 Amiga 500, 2000, CDTV, 600. I think there's one other model, I can't remember what it is. And you plug that in, and it turns it into basically like faster than an 060 machine with like 256 megabytes of hard drive of RAM on an Amiga. It's like what? Really? Some craziness. Just plugging up to the CPU slot. Somehow somebody figured out some magic. And for on the cheap, it's better than a Vampire. From what I've been hearing online, with all these, you have to pay like close to $500 for a damn Vampire, because especially if you live in the United States, because it has to be shipped from Europe with all that extra shipping cost. Or you could just get a Pi Storm and it plugs straight into your 68,000 socket, and voila, lo and behold, you got a way faster machine that you ever could have done with some original accelerator card. Even an 060, it blows an 060 out of the water. It blows the fastest power PC that was usable in an Amiga out of the water. I mean, you're just... And 256, I think it is. It's at least 128. It's at least 64 megabytes of fast RAM, but I'm pretty sure it's 256. Or at least 128. It's some craziness. But in this video, I'm mostly fiddling with old tools and reminiscing about my old truck. And I try to get the screw out of this hard drive enclosure. So in my next section, I'm trying to take you step by step. I want to look at this. I was trying to show you the inside of this in my first video, and one of the screws was stripped and rusty. So let me see if I can remedy that. And there is the stripped and rusty screw. And I actually have, they call it a tapper or something like that. It's called a tap bit that might allow me to get that out of there. I did spray it with WD-40 about 6-8 months ago, maybe a year ago. I sprayed some WD-40 and it sat like this on its side so that it could drip down and maybe loosen up any rust that might be in there. But as you can see, the head of that screw, if I can get it to focus, well, the head of that screw is toast. So, what do I have? I've had this tool for ever. I bought it for a project when I used to have a Jeep Cherokee that had a screw that the head had broken off and there was no way to get it out. And I used this and like this little pick tool and a hammer, and I had to tap that. It had a little nub on the side where the head broke off. This one little piece, this one little jagged edge was sticking up from where the head broke off. So I had to use a pick. And of course the tip broke off. But I kept using it more of a blunt object, and I kept tapping it, tapping it, tapping it. I think it took me almost an hour, maybe an hour and a half, to actually to get it to the point where I could grab it with a wrench and unscrew it easily. So it was a very lengthy process. So I do have some skills with patience, just so you know. Sometimes I get impatient. Screw extractor set. Yes. And I just tried my power drill, and the battery's a little low, so hopefully I have enough power to do this. Otherwise, I might have to charge it for a while and then come back and shoot this again. But here is, it's the El Cheapo. I got it at Walmart a few years ago. Like, I really needed an electric drill that could do forward and backwards, unscrew and screw. And because I don't know if you know, my mom gave me her original Craftsman brand. It was gray. It had the old Craftsman branding. It was gray with red lettering with kind of an embossed steel around the letters. Or I don't know if it was embossed, but it was. That's what the logo looked. It said Craftsman in there. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, look it up on the internet. Anyway, it was an electric drill. You had to plug it into the wall. It had a really short cord. It was only like maybe 4 feet. 3 or 4 feet. It was a short cord. So you had to use it with an extension cord unless you were like right next to the plug. So, anyway. So it's already in reverse, but look how weak that is. But if I hold this, it should. There we go. So that loosens up the tip. I can take the tip out. I think I'm going to need this. Oh, that's kind of neat. When you flip it around, it kind of bounces up, and then it becomes like a stand. Oops. If I had enough room on the table, it becomes a stand. And look, it just sits straight up. And you can choose, and I'm missing the tiniest one. Wow. I don't remember losing that, but that must have happened a long time ago. I think this third biggest size might be the right size for this. I don't know. Let's see. It might be that other size. That might just do that. But let me see if the next smaller size... It's better to start small and then work your way up. No, I don't think that one's going to work. So I was correct in my first assessment. You need to use the... Well, that would have been the third largest. Apparently there are 1, 2, 3, 4... Apparently there are 5 sizes. I have lost the smallest size. What can I say? I mean, it's gone. I'll probably never see it again. I'm not going to cry about it, but at least I have the size I need, which is the third highest size in the settings, but it's the second highest size of what I actually have in my hands. Alright? So let's see. You got to switch. You press this. That switches you to forward. That which switches you to screw instead of unscrew. So you kind of hold it, you try to hold it level, and you press the button, and you hold the end there. And then when it gets a little tighter, you like... So I think how this works... Well, let me put it on reverse, because I'm trying to unscrew. So let me see if this even... Let's try this. Oh, man. Just what I feared. This battery is dead. But I do have the battery charger. I think it's over here on the other side of the room. Hopefully this battery hasn't crapped out on me, because I've had this for a few years, and battery technology wasn't as good back then. But hopefully I just need to charge it. So I'll be back in a few minutes to show that I am charging it, and then I'm going to have to wait probably a couple of hours. I'll probably have to come back tomorrow to actually show you me using the screwdriver again. or the electric drill, the wireless electric drill. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I just had to go to the other side of the room, and I found the charger. It's got kind of a generic AC to DC adapter here, a wall wart, that some people call it, or a power adapter is what I always called it. Until I heard, the first time I heard the term wall wart, I was well into my 20s. I always called it a power adapter in my youth. But anyway, that's just what some people call this, a wall wart. Some people just call it a power AC to DC power adapter. That's what I called it, because that's what it is. So you just take this, you take your battery. Here's your drill. The battery plugs in the drill like that, and then it has this release mechanism. See, that's like running out of power. Yeah, that thing's toast. So it has this release mechanism. You just press that down. It just pushes down this lever, which is like a latch that latches on either this little lip here, or actually I think even on the power adapter, it doesn't even, the latch doesn't even come into play, because yeah, it sticks out further than it would even be latched. So that is handy for the actual drill, because you don't want it to fly off while you're trying to work on something. But it's not necessary for the charger, which you just slide this down on here. And most things nowadays wouldn't be designed like this. You would probably have like a little barrel jack like this on the back of your drill or something to charge that. Or probably nowadays maybe even a USB cable. I don't know. Anyway, this is how they made this cheap. I think it was less than $20 about 15 years ago. Or no, about 12 years ago. So I don't know. A long time ago. More than 10 years ago for sure. So you just plug the barrel jack in. You move the drill. Let me show you the power source here. Already got a bunch of stuff hooked up to it, but I mean, it's gonna fit. I'm gonna make it fit. Look, this is what men do. This is what men do. Well, and smart women. I don't want to sound sexist. This is what people who know what the heck they're doing do. How about that? Why bring gender into it? So you take it and you plug it in. Boom. And I think this has lights. Let me see. Yes, look. Do you see the lights? It is charging. Ultra Steel. The N1 or NiCad. 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 NiCad is still the technology that they're using nowadays. Nickel cadmium is what that stands for. It's a type of, those are two different minerals that they use to create the batteries. And I think they still use NiCads, but they're more dense and more, they can hold a much more strong charge. I don't know how they, I mean, technology has, like I say, this was at least 10, 12 years ago, if not longer, when I bought this. So this battery is obsolete by today's standards. But once I charge it, it's still going to power up this drill, and that's all I need it to do. So maybe obsolete by today's standards, but I'm working on yesterday's equipment, so I'd need yesterday's tool. I need yesterday's tools. How do you like that philosophy? If you want to work on yesterday's technology, you gotta use yesterday's tools. Makes total sense to me. Alright, I hope you like that bit. I think I'm gonna end it for this first section because I need to track down a couple of more pieces of equipment that I can't quite find at the moment. But I hope you enjoyed coming along on my journey of the past and uh, uh, working with technology and how batteries work.